We are going to discuss about Musalia Mudavadi. I have called this recording Weak Leaf in Foreign Affairs. Of course, his name is Wycliffe, but I've called him a weak leaf. Now we start. I do believe that Musalia has handled different ministries more than any other Kenyan, dead or alive. From being in charge of supplies department to vice president, now prime cabinet secretary, which essentially is prime minister. He joined politics in 1989 and he has been in politics since then up to now. Uh, he started off when we had the 1988 general elections. Uh, President Moi wanted to give Francis Ole Kaparo a ministry and gave him the Department of Supplies. That was essentially a department, not a ministry. I remember Mr. Nyaseda, our law instructor, used to mock, Ole Senteu, Ole Senteu, who came from Ole Kaparo's place, saying that he was basically head of a department but not a ministry. So in 1989, Moses Sebston Mudamba Mudavadi died. When he died, in a in a by-election, Musalia Mudavadi was elected. So he has been in politics since 1989 to date. He has been to very many, he's the only person to have been acting minister for all the ministries. In the Kenyan history, it's only twice that the president has sent the whole cabinet packing. After the 2005 referendum, Kibaki sent all ministers home except the Vice President Mudia Wori and the Attorney General. The president then had powers to sack, even send the Vice President home, but he left Mudia Wori. Mudia Wori remained as the Vice President but not as the Minister for Home Affairs. After the Jinsi mess, Ruto sent all the cabinet home, including the AG, but left out the DP, Deputy President, whom he had no power to sack, but who anyway ended up home through an impeachment motion. And he left Musalia. So what happened was after Gen C, Ruto sent all the cabinet home, including the AG, but left out the Deputy President and Musalia. Let me sidestep a bit. Old people do that a lot of time. Muturi had to correct the issue by resigning as the AG, by telling the president that the president had no power to sack the AG unless the president instituted an inquiry and whatever. But since the president had publicly gone out and declared that he had sacked Muturi as the AG, Muturi corrected that by resigning because in Kenya somebody would have gone to court. Somebody would have gone to court. So Muturi saved Ruto by correcting it. So if anybody would have gone to court, would say there's no difference between, because after all, Muturi resigned. But that was before his son was abducted. Waliguza pali pabaya, sema kimeumana. If they would not have abducted his son, I think Muturi would still be comfortable. But I think those people who wanted to get Muturi out, when they saw that that he didn't get the plan, they again abducted his son. For the first time ever, somebody, that is Musalia, was made the acting cabinet secretary of all the ministries in Kenya. So basically, he has been a minister on all ministries. You go back to his most illustrious history, he has headed all important ministries. I know all animals are equal, and some ministries are more equal than others. He has headed all important ministries except perhaps education, internal affairs, and defense. You would not be wrong to say that he is the only person who appears in both lists of deputy head of state and premier. He was a vice president. In Kenya, we have had, on the question of premier, all the four persons who have appeared under different political environments. We have had four prime ministers in Kenya. They have appeared under different political environments and different names, but basically they are prime ministers. Surprise, oh surprise, you'll not believe it, that the first prime minister of Kenya was Ronald Gideon Gala. You remember they usually say that Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was given that position by Brigadier Hadi at Kahawa Garrison, huko Kenyatta University. He was given that position, but he refused. He said he cannot take it until Jomo Kenyatta comes out of jail. So the position was given to Ronald Gala, who was then the head of Kenya African Democratic Union. That time, for us who have studied the constitution, we have something that we call a minority government. A minority government. Let's say in 2027, my party, by the way, I'm starting a party called Chadema, Chama cha Demokrasia na Maendeleo Kenya. Now, if my party wins the next election 2027, and we are told to form the government and we refuse, and we have formed 60% of the MPs, the speaker in some jurisdiction can allow the opposition to form a government. That is what is called a minority government. So Kanu won the elections 1961, but refused to take the government. So KADU, the opposition, took over. The leader of KADU was called Ronald Gideon Gala. He was made the chief minister of the Kenyan colony. Chief minister of the Kenyan colony, which basically is a prime minister. Hiyo umesikia wapi kwingine? Please rush to the till number. But most important, this is a very important lesson. Share it with others, especially those who want to know political and history of Kenya. So the first one was Ronald Gideon Gala, who was the chief cabinet minister in the colonial government of Kenya, where the head of state was the Queen of England, represented by the governor. Then on Madaraka Day, June 1st, 1963, Jomo Kenyatta, head of KANU, was the prime minister. Yes, the rank was changed from chief minister to prime minister, where Jomo Kenyatta was the prime minister in the colony of Kenya under the governor. You see, the head of state was the queen. So Jomo Kenyatta, part one, Jomo Kenyatta was the second prime minister, isn't it? Part one, he was the prime minister of the colony of Kenya between Madaraka Day 1963 and Independence Day 12 December 1963. For 6 months, 11 days, he was the prime minister in the colony of Kenya. Kenya attained independence on 12 December 1963 when he became the prime minister of the state of Kenya. And Kenya was independent and it was state of Kenya under the Queen of England. Now, the Queen of England was the head of state of Kenya, the way she is the head of state of Jamaica, the way today, her son Today her son is the head of state of Jamaica. Today King Charles is the head of state of New Zealand. And today King Charles is the head of state of Australia. So Kenya was that way, where the Queen of England was the head of state of an independent Kenya, and Jomo Kenyatta was the prime minister of the independent Kenya. That was between 12th December 1963 to 12th December 1964. In 1964, Kenya became independent, and you know the rest is history. Jomo Kenyatta became the president, and they did away with prime minister. So we have talked of two prime ministers, Ronald Ngala and Jomo Kenyatta. The third prime minister was Raila Amolo Odinga, was the prime minister and co-head of state, no, co-head of government uh, in the Nusumkate government. Meaning, head of state was Kibaki, but government was headed by two people. Government was headed by Raila and Kibaki on equal terms. So he was the co-head of government, but not co-head of state in the what is called Nusumkate. But then he later realized that he was a ceremonial prime minister. Anyway, we are not talking of that. Then we go to recently during Ruto's government. During Ruto's government, Ruto made during Ruto's government, Ruto made Musalia chief cabinet secretary, which basically is prime minister. So we can say the first prime minister was who? Was Ronald Ngala. Second one, Jomo Kenyatta. Third, Raila. Fourth, Mudavadi. But you can see of them, if you go to a country like Britain, all the duties that Margaret Thatcher used to do is what all the prime ministers have been doing, including this one. But you'll find each and every premier in Kenya has been under a very different, what do you call, environment. So I think we have now understood about premier. We have had only four. We go ahead. One time when Moi was addressing the Nation Assembly, he said that he had been a member of the House for a long time, that a number of honorable members were not yet born when he joined the National Assembly. In a cabinet meeting, Musalia can easily say that. He can look at a few cabinet members and tell them, the first time I became a cabinet minister, the first time I attended a cabinet meeting, some of you are not born. With his long CV and his character of a political Kibaki, you know, in Kenya we have, in most countries, but in Kenya we have two types of politicians. We have the Kibaki type and the Raila type. With his long CV and his character of a political Kibaki, one would have expected him to act with a lot of diplomacy, especially him being one of the oldest people, both in age and in experience, in the country or even in the Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki. But unfortunately, we may need a political Raila and not a political Kibaki in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I may be lost somewhere. Old people always do that. But didn't we have a ministry called East African Affairs? Don't we have that? The issues that we have been having with our neighbors, especially Tanzania and Uganda, are best coordinated by the Ministry of East Africa. So I don't know whether that ministry is still in existence or not. But if it is in existence, what we are having problems with Uganda and Tanzania, in my opinion, are best handled by the Ministry of East African Affairs. What is the mandate of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? One of the commandants at Kamiti prison, actually he headed Kamiti twice. He told me about convicted foreigners in Kamiti. He told me especially about those from Nigeria. These are people convicted by the Kenyan judiciary for a long time. A good number of them had been convicted for over a decade. According to this former commandant of Kamiti prison, the Nigerian High Commission regularly sent its legal attaché to meet the Nigerian convicts. Regularly, they would send. The instructions of the legal attaché was to generally find out how each prisoner was doing, with special emphasis on any mistreatment, especially those mistreatment that are meted to them as foreigners or Nigerians. The legal attaché of the Nigerian embassy was sent to find out if there is something special, some mistreatment that the Nigerians were being given specifically because they are Nigerians. For example, if you are found with a gun, illegal gun, so you are jailed for I don't know how many years, whether you are a Kenyan or a foreigner. But when you are in jail and you are harassed because you are non-Kenyan, or you are being harassed because you are a Nigerian, the Nigerian embassy would have been, they just wanted to make sure that whatever hardship, can I call it that? Whatever hardship that the Nigerian convicts were going through are the same as what other hardships the Kenyan or other citizen was doing. The attaché wanted to know if they were being mistreated because they are foreigners or because they are Nigerians. The legal attaché would no, there was a he told me that some of the Nigerians did not want to meet the people from Nigerian embassy. And you see, when he told the Nigerian embassy that these people don't want to meet you, Nigerian embassy would not believe it. They would think that you in a committee, you are mistreating our people and then cheating that they do not want to meet us so that they do not tell us that they're being mistreated. So what did they do? They had to hire Kenyan private lawyers to go and talk to those people. So that is how an embassy is supposed to do, to make sure that, yes, Boniface Mwangi can be arrested in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, and whatever, for mistakes that he has done there. It is for the Kenyan, what do you call, legal attaché to find out why he has been arrested. Is it an offense under Tanzanian law? And when he is sure that he has been arrested under Tanzanian law, is he being treated like any other Tanzanian who has committed the same offense? Hmm? So that is what I'm saying, that Kenyan Foreign Affairs Ministry is not there to be the defense counsel of Kenyans abroad. No. Kenyan embassy abroad, or other embassies from other countries in Kenya, they are not there supposed to say, Kenyans can't make a mistake. No, 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 no. No, they are there to observe and make sure that no discrimination is done to their citizenship on the basis of that citizen being a citizen of that country. The one and only mandate of the Kenyan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or any Ministry of Foreign Affairs of any country, is to monitor and make sure that our citizens do get, yeah, I'll repeat that. The one and only mandate of the Kenyan Ministry of Foreign Affairs and any Ministry of Foreign Affairs of any country is to monitor and make sure that our citizens do get the due process of the laws of the host country. I have listened to the elderly vice chairman of the ruling CCM in Tanzania, and even though he is the spokesman of the ruling party CCM and not the government, but I suspect that Kenyans who went to Tanzania were not accorded due process of law. Defending Tanzania as the only stable country in the region is not an offense. Tanzania has a penal code, and in law, everyone is presumed to know the law, even if he has just arrived in the country. One would want to know what Chief Justice retired Emeritus Mutunga did that Chief Justice Emeritus Maraga didn't do. Why take one, allow him to go through and not allow the other one? And after all, Mutunga is senior too because he was there earlier than Maraga. We also want to know, we also want to know, uh, it's windy here. We want to know what Boniface Mwangi did. We have no problem. After all, I remember seeing him very hot-headed in a, yeah, he's that way. Uh, but there was a video clip where he wanted to physically fight somebody in a hotel or something, in a hotel or something like that. Maybe that person went and complained. It is the same Boniface Mwangi who one time poured, I don't know, some liquid on the uniform of a police officer, and the police officer had, I think it is the then police spokesman had restrained himself. So Boniface Mwangi is known for that, and I would say from here that I hear he has come back. He's somewhere in southern coast in a hospital, but he's a very bad inciter. It's a very bad inciter. I've also talked about him burying the flag of a country. You know, the flag of a country, burying it in the grave. It's very bad. Or even burning. You have seen whenever there is a problem with Arabs, they usually burn the Israel and USA flags. Burning the flags and burying that is Boniface Mwangi for you. But Mgala muwe na haki umpe. It should be we should be told what Mwangi did, and he should follow the due process. And even if Mwangi did anything wrong, uh, did what did something that was not wrong, what did they do within the law? You don't have to break the law because somebody you are arresting some. You have to, even if you are arresting somebody, you have to follow the law. Of course, if Boniface Mwangi did a misdemeanor, makosa kidogo, did he deserve to being treated like an Al Qaeda? I don't think so. On matters of East African community countries, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and especially Musalia Mudavadi, his reaction has always been like the Kenyan Ministry of Foreign Affairs is a public relationship department of either Uganda or Tanzania. If you look at whatever they do, when the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is called upon to respond, it acts like, we have some countries and even some people who hire local public relationship companies to take care of the image. What I've seen with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in whatever situation has happened, we have had two abductions in Kenya. The Ugandan was successful, but the Tanzanian was unsuccessful. In both cases, Kenyan government, Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Kenya, has acted more like the public relationship firm of the two countries. And even when things happen, like the things that happened in Kampala, you find that a brigadier general was saying, have you heard the Kenyan government complain? Why are you complaining? And even Tanzania, you can see the ways the Madam President is talking ill of our country. She talks ill of our country. And what does Mudavadi do? He talks well of her country. The two countries have treated Kenya the way the way we treat Elmi Triangle. We have Elmi Triangle, northern Kenya. They treat it as a part of our, Elmi Triangle used to be part of Sudan. So it used to be part of Sudan. Now it is part of us. So the way these people treat us is like Kenya used to be independent, but now it's an extra province of Uganda or Tanzania. When they are in Kenya, they oversee our National Police Service the way GSU is supposed to treat Kanjo during a joint operation. Now, they become the GSU, and our National Police Service in Kenya behaves like Kanjo. If you have seen Kanjo doing a joint operation with the GSU, you understand. When we are in when we are in Kampala or Dar es Salaam, they treat us the way the Sudanese government treats RSF, like a terror group. And what do they get from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? And weak leaf, they are cheered on. Then the way they abducted Kiza in Westlands, a Ugandan army general addressed a press conference and challenged those present to say whether the Kenyan government had protested the adoption. I'm repeating that. There is this Tanzanian lady who was nearly abducted in Nairobi. The time when Mudavadi was escaping the womb is when I was settling in another womb. You get it? Around the time when Musalia was escaping the womb, the same time that I was entering another womb. I want to ask my age mate, Musalia, how would you feel if my child was in your compound and I came and slapped him in your home in the presence of you? As if that is not enough, your son comes to my compound and I slapped him. How would you feel? What does the Kenya... Okay, what I'm trying to say is that if my son has gone to your compound and I come and slap him, it's like these people, the Ugandans and Tanzanians, have come to abduct their people in our compound. And if that is not enough, your son comes to my compound and I slap him there. Kenyans have gone to Kampala, Kenyans have gone to Dar es Salaam, and they have been slapped by our host. Kenya, what does the Kenyan Ministry of Foreign Affairs do? Or what does Mudavadi do? They justify the mistreatment of their own citizens. They justify the mistreatment of their own citizen. If your child comes to my house and talks ill of you, I will call him aside and tell him that my house should not be the arena of settling your issues. I would call him aside. I would not even talk to him ahead. What I see from Musalia is that he would go to the village elders meeting and start castigating his son, saying things I am proud to be, seeing things as they are, seeing things as they are. I'm proud to be a Kenyan. I don't know, but even if Tanzania and Uganda, if they are economically better than Kenya, but political freedom is far more better than economic freedom. CCM should look south. You know, they are very proud. I heard the vice chairman saying, what is Chadema? What is Chadema? Kakitu kadogo. CCM should look south. They may be comfortable as they are today. But remember, ANC had to turn to the Boers for a joint government. As we speak now, the South African government is a joint one between the colonizers and the colonized. Do not be shocked that in future you may even turn to the very same Chadema. That's why I said I'll start my own party called Chadema. It's a shame that the country that set up a large chunk of its budget for freedom of several countries to turn to be what it is today. Those of my age will remember, even Museveni and his NRA and all the other people, they started off from Tanzania. If you look at the Ugandan army, they do their parade in Kiswahili because they got those wordings from Tanzanian People Defense Forces. That is Ugandans. Yeah, they used to call now today they are called UPDF, but they used to call UNLF, Uganda National Liberation Army, UNLA, Uganda National Liberation Army. If you look at countries like South Africa, they did their guerrilla training in Tanzania. You look at Zimbabwe, you look at all countries to the south, Mozambique, they trained in Tanzania during Nyerere's time. But it is a shame that the country that set up a large chunk of its budget for freedom training of several countries is turned to what it is today. As for Mudavadi, On 3 occasions, I have wished that he becomes the internal affairs minister. Of course, you can now see that he's poor in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The last time I wished, the second time, I can't recall the first one. The second time I remember is when the whole cabinet was sent away and was being reconstituted. I would really have wanted him to be the Minister for Internal Affairs. That was the second time. The third time was when Kindiki was elevated to the deputy president. I really felt that Mudavadi should take over the the internal affairs. Remember, at all levels, starting from regional, these people are called national government administration officers, starting from regional level, county level, sub-county level, all the way to sub-locations. You find that these people, their work is to coordinate functions of the central government business. Is that not the duty of the prime cabinet secretary? So I think this is the right time to do so. But I would also want to tell the Ruto government is that whatever is happening, uh, in many African languages, the feminists will forgive me, but in many African governments, they say that you can show contempt to me as much as you want, but you should not come to my house before my wife and children and show contempt to me in the presence of my family. That way, I would also want to tell Ruto and his government that don't allow the neighboring countries to show contempt to you. Sometimes back, we understood that you looked the other way, especially on the aspect of Uganda, or not even Uganda, even Tanzania, because you were busy campaigning for Raila to be the AUC chair. But as you can see, and I don't know how people voted in the AUC chair, but I would not be shocked that the earliest people, I'm not even sure. I would be surprised. I'd be surprised if I learned that Museveni voted for Raila and even Sulu. What I'm trying to say here is, Mr. President, is that it is possible that these people, even after you bending so low, it is quite possible that even when it came to voting for Raila, they did do that. But even if they did or they did not do, the circumstances are different. Raila is not an AUC candidate again. So do something for Kenyans. Thank you.